And there we go. It's telling me we're live, and it's telling me there's 4 people in there. Let's just see what the lag is tonight.
Half an hour.
Half an hour, yeah. Sometimes it's not. It wasn't too bad last week.
Here we are.
You've got it. I haven't. There we go. Okay, that's quite a bit of lag. Well, good evening, good evening, good evening. As one very well-known gay fella says every time you see it.
You're watching too much QI.
I've been watching too much QI.
You've been listening to it. Your favourite insists on watching it.
Well, it's interesting listening to it in the background when I'm doing stuff on here.
It is quite interesting, yes. That's what it stands for.
I don't know why I said that. Evening, Steve, Marines. How are you guys? Well, I got the appointment right at the hospital on Monday. Yeah. And by God, didn't they have trouble getting some blood out of me? The fucking state of that. One of the smallest needles they got. But they had to fish around well deep to get it and wiggling the needle around. But it was all good news. They did the blood test. My fat red blood cells are just below the limit that provokes the treatment, the venous section. So I made an appointment for another 3 months, by which time, yes, it will probably have crept over. So I probably will have to have the treatment next time. But hey, that's not for another 3 months. So, and it means I'd have had some treatment before we go away on holiday in July as well. So, yeah, it's not good, Steve. I get it every time. And I can't understand why they have trouble getting the blood out, because I'm on so many blood thinners. You know, if I cut myself, I just don't stop bleeding. I'm like a bloody haemophiliac. But when they want some out, they can't get it. And obviously it bleeds like shit afterwards. Good evening, Moo.
Evening, Moo.
How you doing, buddy? Yeah, not too bad, Steve, not too bad. Just in case I do flag tonight, I've got my little friend here. Yeah, product placement, look, you know. But to be honest, I don't give a shit what it is as long as it's me go juice. But yeah, on that state, I don't know why it's been a bit of a struggle the last couple of weeks with one another, things going on. Obviously, yeah, I don't go out a lot. There's not a lot I do outside when I do actually get outside. But for some reason, I just felt, you know, no energy, no power. But it gets you like that. The ME, it's not always there. Well, it's always there, but usually the levels are manageable through medication, whatever. But nothing seemed to work last week. I was just very run down, you know. And if it carries on the way it's going in with these twats in power, I've got to keep my eyes open and my shit about me all over the place. I mean, over the weekend, whoa, you know, it's yeah. I mean, how the hell is Starmer still in place with what's been going on? I mean, just enough that's coming out now should be more than enough to get him removed, but hell no. Just like I said, he's hanging on in there, he's digging his heels in. You know, and he's controlling his own party now with threats, as we've seen, you know. Well, that's straight from the dictator's playbook, isn't it? But
Evening, Stitch. And no, Steve, it's not from
Willibrands.
Villebrands. It's spelt with a W anyway. It's German.
Good evening, Stitch. Good evening, Little Stitch. And good evening, Resist. Good evening, Peter, by the way. Nearly forgot you this week, mate. I like to give him
And new
a
Stitch.
bit of a mention. You know, he does take a big part, if only in the comments. And I do enjoy answering them. But yeah, you know, he's playing the dictator's playbook now. And, you know, the threats of, I will call a general election and fuck the lot of you, you'll all be out of a job. You'll all have your seats taken off you. Yeah. Which, if you're on the gravy train, as they've been calling it, you're going to do to save your own ass, ain't you? To keep your job. Yeah, even if you lie through your fucking teeth. But so basically, it's work with me or I'll fucking destroy you. Well, and he's been doing it, you know. As far as I'm concerned, when everything hits the fan like this, nobody resigns. They're all pushed or pushed into resigning, which is exactly what we've been seeing over the last few days. I mean, you know, his top advisors gone. You know, and then all of a sudden, the little slippery cowards behind his back that we're going to stick the knife in, we're ready to go for you, we're going to remove you, they've all turned into snivelling little disciples, haven't they? Mind you, with some of the rumours are rife, there's many of them that could crawl up his arse and win it anyway. So, but we won't go there. I don't spread them sort of rumours. But again, the first one to come out, show their support. They were all waiting for somebody to do it. And of course, it was Slimy Lammy, wasn't it? He was the first one. You know, he's been up his arse ever since he's been in the party, really. It's even worse now he's deputy head. But yeah. But really, the worst one that I saw over it all was Thieving Reeves, old Rachel from accounts. She's there praising him, you know, licking the hairy balls, as it were. And 2 minutes later, she's come out and bold as brass lied to everybody again in a press conference. The economy's on the up. Interest rates are down. Unemployment is down. NHS waiting lists are down. Same old chestnut, same old lie. The numbers out there prove her wrong, prove that she's lying. And we all know the reason for the NHS waiting list going down. It's because they're cancelling hundreds and hundreds of fucking appointments. So, yeah, she said, and then boldly stands there and lies.
She's got a paper upside down. She's looking at the graph wrong.
Yeah,
she can't read. She needed it in pictures.
It's a dying party. It's a totally dying party. Every time they start, it's a complete tirade of lies. You know, the cost of living is coming down. Is it? Fuck. You know? It's just lie after lie. The lifting kids out of poverty thing, well, that is laughable, considering they put it down free breakfast. Doesn't lift anybody out of poverty. And it's not free if it's taxpayer funded. So, you know, that's just malinformation, I'll call that.
Money that can't be spent in hospitals.
Yeah. But they failed at every turn. They've lied to our faces. They've lied to the world to their face. No, he came out and announced, what was it? He's putting in place a 10-year plan. I think it was on education. 10-year. You know, really, the delusion must be real in his head. But he's putting together a 10-year plan. Well, I'm going to make a very, very bold prediction here and say, Starmer, you ain't going to last 10 more weeks, let alone 10 fucking years. Believe me. But he's pushing on with it all, isn't he? You know? I mean, how disgusting is he to bring up his dead brother in a speech? Oh, we've known what poverty is. My brother died basically a down and out. Well, this was 20 odd years ago. When he was earning, shall we say, six figures. He was earning into the hundreds of thousands of pounds a year as a lawyer. Yeah, he let his brother die in poverty. You know? What does that say about the man? What does that say about his family? You know?
It says he can't pick very good examples.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, Starmer's education, top public school, private school, Oxford, and then on to be trained as a lawyer and eventually end up with his silks at the bar. Why does he need to use his brother to gain favour? Make people feel sorry for him. We know how hard it can be. They have never, ever known how hard it can fucking be. You know? If his father can afford to send him to a top private school and then on to Oxford and then put him through the bar, they were never fucking working class. Never.
And his brother would have had the same education.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, I don't know what age difference there was between the two, but I dare say his brother was offered the same sort of education. Whether he turned his back on it, I don't know. I don't know that history about him. But, you know, I'm going on what I've read now and what he said.
It'll probably come out over the next few days.
You know? Yeah, Steve, his father did make at least one fucking tool. And he probably put it together in a workshop by the way it's working at the moment. Because it's definitely a robot. But I mean, I suppose the big thing now as well, obviously, I've got something on here somewhere. Did I write something down? No. With Mandelson. Because all of a sudden, I seem to have got things wrong. I thought they were releasing the Epstein files bit by bit when they wanted to try and hide or distract you from another story. But now it seems that's not the case. They've just thrown 3 million pages at them and said, there's the files, go for it. The fact that that is still only half the files. They think there's about 6 million files, pictures, videos, and such like that. So they're still holding back half of them. But look at the fucking carnage that half is causing. You know, it's. Oh dear. And the thing is, it's getting noticed in Parliament because some of them are being mentioned, obviously. And it's not just in our government. It's in the American government, fucking everywhere. But it's causing absolute fucking carnage. You know, and of course you got, well, I call him Babyface, Streeting. You know, he was allegedly up Mandelson's ass, although he denies it. Yeah, was he looking for an invite to the island? Yeah. But yeah, I think there's a lot more to come in the Epstein files. It's at the moment they're only picking on what's happening with Labour about it. But you can sure as hell guarantee that there's gonna be some Tories and other parties in there as well. You know, that apparently there was underground dealing, fraud, spot. There was fucking all sorts going on. Half of it I'd never heard of before. But but the fact that I think the police are investigating some money that was given or Miliband spent, not Miliband, not Miliband, oh for fuck's sake, Mandelson, sorry, was involved in some dealings, why he got the money. So it's not going to go away anytime soon. But yeah, on that, I find it quite hilarious that Starmer stands up there and says, now we are a party that is united, where every single one of them there is poised to still stab the fucker in the back. No. But those that have stayed, whether it be through threat or choice, it just shows their lack of integrity, doesn't it? You know? And when you think of the Epstein files, I've never known a dead man to be able to do so much fucking damage. It's one of them things that's going to be around for a long, long time. Oh, that's a bit fierce. I thought I put too much fucking gas in that. Ooh. But yeah, you know, I mean,
you said your eyebrows needed a trim.
Yeah, they do need a trim, not a melt. Yeah, I do agree they need a trim. Sorry guys, just fucking around changing some notes over here. I have to operate that way because of the way my brain picks things. Oh yeah, no, that was another one. In his Starmer's little fucking speech the other day, I just remembered it. He announced that he was given the mandate and he intends to stick to it. But I'm sorry, did he not make up his own mandate? Who gave it him? WEF? The elites? The Fabian Society, as people are saying? I thought a government puts its mandate together itself. I've never ever heard of one being given.
Unless he got it from his advisor.
Maybe that's why his advisor fucked off. Good evening, Tony. Absolutely, mate. They are all traitors, every single one of them. And he's continuing his program of wiping out the monarchy. I mean, you know, they've changed the government logo from His Majesty or Her Majesty's logo to UK government, still using the royal crest, of course.
For now.
For now. But, yeah. Right, I got that story there, which I want to cover. And I think we'll go with that one after that one. Right, grooming gangs. We were going to end up there at some point tonight, weren't we? You know, you got Rupert Lowe's private inquiry going on now. And it is exposing a lot of horrific stories. And some of them I've never seen in press. I've never seen them on social media before as well. But there is a lot of exposing the failures of everybody from the council, the police, government, and the cover-up that followed. You know, think about even mainstream media have been absolutely silent on this. Why? It's probably one of the biggest things happening in this country at the moment. Obviously, they're silent on it because they've been told to be. Yet every day we see and hear mainstream reporters, we must protect the kids. We've got to look after the women and kids. Yet they absolutely refuse to report on this. And as soon as they start seeing the truth, the free independent press and the like reporting it on social media. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of these so-called truth channels, free independent media, that some of them, are not all of them, some of them are just as bad as mainstream media. Don't always believe everything you hear. Check it out. Look who's saying it. Look for evidence of it. You know, if it's not on film, we know how they clip films, videos, etc. You know, so, some of these so-called free media do it. But, yeah, every single reporter has not said a bloody word on it. And what's it down to? Who's doing it? Well, you got Ofcom. Basically, they control what the media puts out. But they control it as the government say they want it controlled. They are government controlled. This has been out there for a while now, how they're doing that. So I won't go into it. But Ofcom go round accusing free independent media of biased reporting. Try and find them, and they have done in the past. But they don't do nothing about mainstream media biased reporting, not showing the truth. They've pulled them up on it once or twice, but that's only because of the backlash. So my opinion is Ofcom is absolutely fucking biased themselves because they've been instructed to be by government. And this is how censorship works now. The government say what you can and can't say. But they can't do anything about it directly themselves. So they get one of their little minions that they control to do it. But now we've got probably one of the most open cover-ups showing just how these people in power want to protect women and kids. They want to actually destroy court transcripts, files. Not all of them. Only the ones that are concerning the grooming gangs. Now, the law should absolutely step in here, although it's the law that's being asked to do it. Now, as far as I know, somebody tell me I'm wrong, but tampering with evidence is illegal. It's a crime. Yes, there are court cases being opened to try and stop them doing this. So surely those files should be frozen until such a time the court makes a decision whether they can be destroyed legally or not. Starmer should absolutely not be able to just walk in and say, get rid of the fucking evidence. That is evidence tampering, which is illegal. You know?
Send the bugger to jail.
And why they're doing this, they're doing everything in their fucking power to protect the people that are committing these crimes and have committed these crimes. You know, they're absolutely disgusting. They've turned virtually this country into a predator's fucking paradise, a holiday resort for predators. And the worst thing is they pay in the fuckers once they get here. Oh, you know.
Calm down.
I know I'm getting worked up. I'll move on from this one in a minute because it does piss me off. And the thing is, they've used DEI, diversity, inclusion, and that bollocks as a weapon to fucking do it. You know, they can shed as many fucking crocodile tears they like over the Epstein victims. I have not seen one of them shed a fucking tear over our own victims in this. I'm going to leave that there.
Yeah.
That will, if I carry on with that one, it will fucking wind me up.
And you end up going down rabbit warren with they're trying to keep it light.
Yeah. I
No.
It's just one of them things that really annoys me.
Yeah, you don't need to be taking extra blood.
No, and in the sort of actions they're doing, unfortunately, and we're seeing the results of it, it ends in violence. It always ends in violence because, the protesters outside most of the hotels in the country, most weekends, and there's always violence. It doesn't always come from the protesters, we know that. But it's tearing the country apart, literally.
Anyway, on a lighter note.
Yeah, moving on.
Please. What else you got on your list?
Well, I got one here that we have, well, not disagreed about, but talked about because of our differences on the guy. Is Farage. Again. When he blurted out the other day that he thinks working from home should stop. Now, I think he just said this off the top of his head, although he has mentioned it before. because I don't think he has considered or thought about the implications of this. Now, many people work from home, some by choice. There are others that do it for other reasons. Quite a few work from home because they're disabled. And many of those are forced to work by the DWP or lose a certain amount of your benefits. Now, the benefits of working from home when you're disabled, I'll let Heather talk to you about that in a sec, because she's exactly in that position. She's working from home, and there are quite a few reasons why it works, because she cannot go into an office, or majority of offices. But I'll let her explain that to you in a minute. But the civil servants that are still working at home since COVID, absolutely, they should be back in the office where they usually work. But I will say again, with the exception of the disabled ones, because there are some. There's got to be, with the numbers of civil servants and laws around employing disabled people. But the thing on that, sadly, even if they're working full time and they're disabled, I would look at what they're getting paid. Now, some of these people used to commute into London. They drive into London. And of course, because they're working in London, they get the higher rate of pay than most of the rest of the country don't get, simply because of the price of the living standards in London. Now, if they're working in a nice, cushy little fucking rural hamlet or a nice little town somewhere where the pay structure is a lot lower, the cost of living is a lot lower, then they should not get paid their usual wage that they get for working in London. They should get it reduced to the amount for the area and the employment they're in. I mean, that is only fair. But to say, get rid of all home working, well, I'll let Heather tell you her little take on that.
My take on working from home. I've done office work, I've done hybrid, so half and half, and I've worked from home. More so since COVID. It allows you freedom. You need to do something, but you want to do it at 6 o'clock at night. You can, because you don't have to go into the office. The company, charity I work for, had a big office. Everybody was there. Everybody was pre-COVID. And then they had to make it work working from home. Well, we don't work as a team. I don't need to interact a lot. So it's no difference whether I find the office too distracting. But the charity I work for downsized the office. There's only room for 7, and there's 30 of us. Now, we're not all going to get back into that building, which means they've got to find new premises, which they're not going to be able to afford. It's a charity.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the disabled side of things.
Sorry. For me, don't have to drive. And especially if I was a wheelchair user, my place would be set up for me with a desk, everything. It's so much easier. You don't have to worry about going out in the snow or anything else. I like working from home, but But it means I'm here for Roger as well.
Yeah, because she is like a part-time carer because of my
The day I came home from work
medical
and he'd
stuff.
had those strokes,
Mm.
I didn't want to leave after that. I didn't want to go into work. It was horrible leaving him because I didn't know what I was going to come home to. But I'm only upstairs.
But the thing is, with the disabled, now some of the offices she's worked in, I used to work in the same building, and the stairs were a struggle for me. And this was before I had the stroke.
It was-
So she has an aid to climb the stairs here. So going into an office with a lot of stairs, a lot of steps, was absolutely out of the question now. Same with travelling. She can drive, absolutely. But if she's got to park more than 20, 25 yards away from the building, walk up to the building and then still climb some steps, she can't do it. You get to a certain age where I won't say you have bad things, but you do have certain toilet issues. Most of the ones at our age are frequent need to go. Urgency. So you're in an office situation, the toilets are down the hall. Again, you've got to go, and you've got to go regular, which is getting in the way of your work. It's annoying people around you. Working from home, the way it's set up here, literally Heather walks out of the door of the office, in through the door of the toilet. No walking around anywhere, and she can do it whenever she needs to. This is the thing. And these are the things that Farage, I'm right in saying that, aren't I?
Yeah. Oh, yes, sorry.
And this is where politicians go wrong with saying things off the top of their head. They're going to do this without thinking it through and the consequences. Now, that statement, Farage, he needs to go away and think about what he said and think of the consequences of what he said. Because there are people that can only work from home, and there are people that are forced to work from home by the government.
Hi, Nick. No, I'm not in Tamworth anymore.
Hi, Nick.
I'm working from home now because the office is almost in Coventry. And I'm not doing a drive to Coventry every day.
Well, you go in if there's meetings that you need to attend.
Oh, we have team meetings every now and again where we all get to discuss.
And
issues.
it is, and I have noticed, you do some Zoom meetings and that as well, but you can't get away from that sitting opposite someone and chatting to them, as it were.
Yeah, the team meetings aren't on Zoom, and except for the Welsh office, because that's the other option. I've got to drive to Wales. Yeah, right. That's happening.
But yeah, I mean, as I've always said, with Farage, at the moment, with what he's saying and what he's trying to do, they are our best hope of getting Labour out in an election. But as we know, and we've seen it perfectly with Labour, what they say to get into power is not always what they do when they get there. Not saying that Farage is like that or any of the other party leaders are like that. But it happens. So I don't believe they're going to achieve, any party will achieve anything until they actually do it. Labour have achieved absolutely fuck all other than to piss the population off in this country and piss on us and many other countries around the world. And that's all being exposed now, and that's why I'm saying 10 weeks, not 10 years. Dip drip, you're gone, mate. That's my prediction. And on the strength of that, I'm going to have a fag before I get into anything else.
And while you're doing that, I'll say good evening, Jen. Glad you could join us tonight. And even though I've already spoken to you, hello, Nick. So you've been sneaking in the background, just lurking. Nick the lurker.
I mean, now last week, if you remember, I brought up this trial where Palestine Action broke into I think it was in Bristol, smashed the place up and smashed the copper in the spine with a sledgehammer. All caught on video. Beautiful, clear 4K video, including sound. The reports on the copper are varying. Some people are saying it was a cracked disc in her back, or it knocked it out of the line or something. Then higher up the scale, people are saying that she's paralyzed. They broke her back. That's it. And they got found not guilty at the trial, which I believe was the wrong result. Okay, they might not have broken the copper's back, but to see someone attack someone's back with a sledgehammer, especially a copper, then yeah, absolutely. They should not have been found guilty. But, and I said, could this possibly be a fixed trial to stir up public anger, considering that the government want to do away with jury trials? Do they want to stir up bad thoughts against juries? Possibly. But now that trial has actually been set, I believe, for a retrial. But then I found another one today. After the farce of this Palestine Action group, Palestine Action, whatever they're called. The trial of, how do you pronounce that fucking name? Razouan Mutt. And yes, he was, or is, an illegal immigrant. Now, he was accused of attempted murder of a gentleman in his 60s. He stabbed him. He continuously kicked him, and he continuously beat him about with a chair leg. Or it might even have been a table leg, I can't remember now. But he beat him to the point where he needed to be resuscitated by heart massage, apparently. And he was in a coma afterwards as well. They didn't specify for how long, or I didn't see it. And the jury decided he wasn't trying to kill him.
Accident.
And it was kicked out of court.
He fell on my knife 15 times.
Now, obviously his name points towards his ethnicity. I don't know where he come from or who was on the jury, but the case was held in Birmingham. I'll say no more. Yeah, not guilty. Beats the bloke into a coma, stabs him. No, I wasn't trying to kill him. Yeah, is this another case that they faked about to push the non-jury trials, turn the hate on jurors that are letting people off? Yeah, absolutely, Jen. It tells me a bloody heap. And it's nothing we haven't been saying about the justice system in this country. I mean, the police were told that all of these type crimes not to hide the ethnicity of the perpetrators. Yet they're still doing it. The one the other day. Yeah. It's the school kids. I'm on about the 2 school kids that got stabbed. So
They didn't give out his ethnicity, but they did give out his war cry.
yeah, I mean, this is the thing. I mean, the first thing out of the copper's mouth whenever they fucking say anything is do not speculate. Well, if you gave us some of the facts, knowing where the guy come from is probably going to cause someone to be hateful towards him. Personally, I'd be hateful towards him for what he's done, more important than where he come from. But the fact that they've let him in and probably helped him in, yeah. But why are they doing it? We know it's to hide what goes on in the files, in the press releases, their figures. You know, we know that the government have done that. You know, just to, I mean, there was, I've got a feeling it was in some area of Birmingham again. A lot of residents and traders on this shopping centre, or estate, wherever it was, kept reporting the thefts and huge thefts to the police. And it was, is that the email to tell me I'm now live? Yeah. Started nearly an hour ago, you fucking thing. Yeah, these people kept reporting these thefts for the police. Well, 9 times out of 10, the police didn't turn up, apparently, and we know they don't. They were instructed not to turn up if it was less than 200 quid's worth of goods. But the council, in their infinite wisdom, acting on behalf of the police, obviously, told these traders don't report the thefts to the police, and actually said, because it messes up their crime figures, and said instead report them to the council, and their council would reimburse them for their losses. So the council were paying out to fudge police figures. Again,
They do love giving away our
what does
money.
it say about justice and the police system in this country? You know, oh yeah, you let the crime go ahead, we'll pay you for it, just to make our numbers look better. And again, London, every fucking time that slimy little bastard can pops up, crime is down. Yeah, but only in your head. The fact that crime in places like London and a lot of the big cities, people don't even bother reporting it anymore because they know they're not going to get anywhere. They're not going to get any reaction or assistance from the police. If it's a large thing, yes, they will phone and report it to the police just to get a crime number for their insurance claims. But other than that, a lot of people don't bother contacting the police simply because of their inactions. And in London, obviously, can't shut down a lot of police front desks at the stations, a lot of local stations. So, of course, those that can't ring, haven't got access, they've been attacked on the street, they've had their phones stolen, they've got nowhere to go and report it because the fucking police stations are shut. And this is how they're saying the crime numbers are down. And actually saying the murder rate in London is less than New York. The London murder rate has always been less than fucking New York. I mean, look at the fucking state of the place. And it ain't got any better since that prick took over as mayor. It's dying. It's a dying city. It's just a den of evil and crime.
No, just me.
You got disconnected from the chat?
Yeah, I've never seen it before. I've got a message that says, chat disconnected. Please wait while we try to reconnect you. And then successfully connected. And then again, exactly the same. And then Boyley's comment of yours. Just me then.
Good evening, Karen. No, but I'm saying that.
We've had issues with them.
Well, no, I've noticed that a lot of the social media platforms are getting this now. People are being cut out of chat. Comments aren't. I mean, Facebook, the last week has been all over the fucking place. I mean, you know, you're getting alerts for comments and reactions that ain't there. And then you'll get maybe a dozen alerts for the one comment.
Mine, when I get a notification that somebody's made comment or whatever, and when I click on the link, it takes me somewhere else.
Yeah. Nick, yeah, it's I haven't seen him in here tonight. But Adrian from the streams back then pops in on here now and again to say hello. And we did ask him, and apparently the drinking done him. Basically, he's blind, I think, in one eye, and it was affecting him that much. He just quit. He just stopped doing it. Apparently, you know, the drinking is a personal thing, so I didn't push for any information or anything like that. But he was always being warned on his own streams that he was drinking too much. And it sounded like it just got all too much for him with the drink and that as well. And
Wouldn't surprise me if he was diabetic and hadn't been diagnosed.
But, you know, I mean, Adrian's a lovely old fella. One of the politest guys I've known. And... yeah, I didn't want to ask too much, you know, and I wouldn't expect him to tell if he did. If he knew any more, I would say it's personal between them, and I would leave that there. But I've said this before. I've lost friends through drink, and I've seen people destroyed through drink, and that is one of the reasons I gave up drinking, because I didn't want to end up like that.
And you knew you couldn't keep up.
Well, with you, yeah. But no, I used to turn into a totally different person when I'd been drinking.
Yeah, you couldn't walk.
Yeah, you know, it used to be all fun and giggles, and yeah, I'd have a laugh with anything and over anything. But then I'd go that one over the top where my personality just changed, and the slightest thing would set me off. And back when I was drinking, that I really wasn't a bloke to be fucked around with back then. As some of you out there know. But as for Dan, as Heather said, yeah, he's absolutely fine. He's got issues with his new car that he bought. Well, not new, he bought a decent car. He's got a few issues with that. He said that's why he hasn't been up to visit us for a while. And as far as I know, just to keep everybody up to speed that asks the question, as far as I know, I haven't spoke to her in the last week or so, but Holly is fine. She's still waiting for the operation. They keep putting it back. So.
But we'll let you know as soon as we can, and she will confirm with us.
Oh yeah, she will let us know, and I always ask, is it okay to let people know that ask how that she's doing? Yeah, not a problem.
But yeah, if anything had happened to Dan, Holly would have told us, because they'll still be in touch, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean we do keep in touch. Good evening, Hunter. Yeah, Nick, those late night streams, they were a lot of fun. But since my medical conditions have got worse over the last few years, I wouldn't be able to cope with it. I mean, I do 2 hours max on here, and that usually wipes me out. And I used to hate leaving Dan's streams and others early simply because I couldn't function. I just needed to rest, to lay down. And that did get worse. It's kind of in and out at the moment. Sometimes I feel a lot worse. Like last week, I think I only did about an hour live stream because I just didn't have the energy to even sit here and talk. I couldn't concentrate. No, he has actually been down there, Nick. His father died, sadly. So he was left looking after his mum, who's not in the best of health. And he has put the channel to one side for now. He has said he's coming back, but I haven't seen what he hasn't said anything about still moving there permanently. I think he was still looking. So
it's finding a place down there, though. That's
yeah,
the issue.
and the price down there, considering what it is in Liverpool, is again with like the wages in London, it's vastly different.
And one of the reasons he wanted to move down there was to be there for mum and dad. So yeah, he's doing that anyway. So,
but whenever he updates me, I always ask, is it okay to pass it on to the guys? Yeah, he doesn't have a problem. Yeah, Steve. I mean, that's like getting caught somewhere doing it 70 mile an hour down the motorway or 90 mile an hour even afterwards because you want to get there quicker. Yeah.
No, starting earlier would just mess up the
If I'm fatigued, Steve, I'm usually fatigued by this time I start. And I have started a few times with a good intention of doing my full 2 hours that I normally do. And I've had to quit after an hour and a half, as you know. It doesn't tell you it's coming on. You get a few minutes notice and then you start to see the effects, albeit very slight to start with. And what I try to do is stop before those symptoms get any worse. Because obviously carrying on, concentrating on chat, shit like that, it accelerates it. And that's the reason why. They've told me it won't get any worse. Well, some days are worse than others, but the bad times that I've been in, it gets to a level and that will stop. But that level is basically I can't function. I have to go and lay down.
But you'll have good days and you'll make it through to 11 o'clock?
Yeah. I mean, again, with the breathing and activities, like I have more energy, seem to have more energy and breathe when we're on holiday because we're out in the fresh air most of the time. Yeah, it kind of goes. And again, as I've always said, you never know. I don't know what part of the medical issues I've got always causing the symptoms because, as I say, several of the issues I've got give you the same symptoms. Maybe it's when they're acting together. The symptoms pile up a bit more, and that's when I get the fatigue hitting. But yeah, it is a job sometimes. It is a job. A little bit better, you'll see. Better than nothing. Thank you, Hunter. Yeah, as I say, both me and Heather used to really enjoy doing the one with Dan. Even more so because we were more heavily and deeply involved with his channel. I did enjoy the weekend down at Revs, where I got plunged into the deep end. But I tend to just stick to myself now. I don't go on any other live streams now. There's just too much going on, too much bitching and arguing and fighting.
Well, there was last time we looked.
Yeah, and the same with the auditors. They went through a phase a few years back where they were all at each other's throats. Well, that's all blown up again now. They're all back at each other's throats again. So, any of those that I used to watch, if it's an auditing, then I don't bother with it. It's and I feel better in my mind for doing it. I don't go out there and provoke anybody, so, and it's worked out bloody well on here. Nobody comes in here provoking me or us or any of you guys, and that's why I set the rules. I want to keep it that way. It's a place where you can come, you can have a difference of opinion with myself or anybody else in here, as long as you have a bit of respect when you're pointing out a difference of opinion. Someone screaming and shouting at me just turns me off. I mean, in the old days, it was usually them that shut up first with a punch in the throat or the head, But obviously you can't do that on the internet.
It's a bit difficult.
Yeah, we settle difference of opinions in a lot of ways, and that was one of them back then. I mean, I remember one night, I was on a night off from the pub. Two of the lads were working the door. And there was not an old soak. He was a fairly young chap, totally off his fucking face, rattling on about all sorts of shit, sat next to me at the bar. And I took it for about 10 minutes, quarter of an hour, and I just turned round to him and said, "Look, dude, you are really starting to piss me off. Just go away." And with that, one of my mates on the door come in and said he'd heard, what had been going on. He'd already asked me about the guy. I said I'd deal with him. And he went to drag him out the door. I said, "Dude," I said, "if I wanted him out the door," I said, "he'd have been out the fucking door by my hand some time back." I said, "But you can do a favour." He said, "What's that?" I said, "Drag the fucker over there, sit him in the corner, so the only one he can talk to is himself." I said, "Because if he carries on, he's going to get such a punch in the fucking throat, he won't be able to talk." And that's where he ended up for about half an hour before he sort of crawled out the place. But yeah, I mean, I won't say I haven't dropped in on live streams and that, but I've always said I don't suffer from mental health, although I've always said that Heather will probably disagree with me.
Yep.
And the way I got over it a few times, I got to admit, I have to agree with myself on that. It was affecting me mentally doing it all. And I just don't need it. I don't want it at my time of life. Same with YouTube. Hi, YouTube in the background there, by the way. I don't do as much on here now. I only do my lives. I may put the odd sporadic video up, but I do most of my posting now either on Facebook or X. Facebook is bad for censorship, but they don't really harass you as much as YouTube do. Yeah, like I said last week, I inquired why my analytics were down. This is before I started cutting right back on videos. And they just said, oh, you're at the bottom of the recommendation list because you need to put out more wholesome content. Go fuck yourselves. I mean, X, yeah, it can be a virtual free-for-all on there. But it is the only place to go where the truth isn't actually censored. You might get a comment in there from their people saying that someone says this isn't right, a bit like the fact checkers used to, but that's where it's left. That's all you get. Yeah, with Charlie Veitch, mate, I mean, this is only my opinion. In his early days, he was good. But then it seemed that he was just going out there to provoke the reactions he was getting. And that's what's done him, unfortunately, I think. I mean, I haven't watched any of his videos, but when a video pops up, you know, Charlie's best kicks or hits, something like that. Yeah, exactly, Nick. If you're going to poke a fire, you're going to get fucking burnt, aren't you? You know? And this is why I don't bother watching these sort of people anymore. You know? It's the same. I've often said it about the auditors. There's good, there's bad. If you're just filming the police's or anybody's reaction, absolutely. Anybody that wants to be a newscaster, a reporter, would do exactly the same. But unfortunately, they are a bit like, a lot of them are a bit like mainstream media. They only get those clips and those videos and those stories because they go there to deliberately provoke it. Now, auditing was all about exposing the police, which it did, and it still does in some ways. It's proved that they can't operate in many cases within the law, and they won't listen to the law or even look at evidence when it's presented to them. That's the good side of it. And Mark Rowley was up in front of the Assembly, the head of the Met, Rowley, as I call him. And he was actually specifically asked about auditors and what the police think and what they are doing about them. And I'm trying to remember what he said now because I never made any notes on this because he's just an inconsequential little jerk as far as I'm concerned. But he actually said, we can't stop them. Even when they're filming the police doing their job, we can't stop them. We can ask them to show a bit of respect and stand back and not interfere with the police, because some of them do. You know, some of them will stand back, that they'll come from a distance so they can stand there without being harassed for covering it. And there's others there that are stuffing their cameras, you know, under the copper's arm, trying to film what's going on. Yeah, some of it might be good intentions. You know, oh, I filmed the evidence of the copper beating him or punching him. Well, quite often you can see that from a distance. There's no need to poke your camera in there. And then they kick up merry fuck when they get arrested or pushed away by the police. Well, I'm sorry, the police are doing their job, or allegedly. So, you know, yeah, of course you're going to antagonise the police and they're going to react to that antagonism. And I've always said that. You know, I posted one video of an interaction I had with the police, and it was one of my first videos. And the only reason I did it was because I was walking up through the town and I had my phone in my hand. So I decided to film it. And yeah, I did get involved. I did give the coppers a lot of shit. But there again, it was during lockdown, so they deserved it for what they were fucking doing. But that's the only time I've filmed police reactions. I don't do it now because I very rarely go out. And if I do, she keeps me under control. And I wouldn't be allowed
out on his own.
I'm not allowed out unaccompanied. I don't play well. But even when we went down, me and Dan went down to Revs down in Somerset for a couple of days. We met up at Bristol because that was where the connection came in, mine and his. And the first thing we went out, we were outside to have a ciggy. And the first thing I did was start taking the piss out of the police that were walking past. But
you never behave well in Dan's company.
No. And that's why I don't want to go on to 10 o'clock, the watershed time for that sort of shit, because we know what that led to on his streams. Yes, I have slipped into it once or twice in here. And I get told to calm it down. That's not what the channel's about.
But I must admit, I miss those nights.
Oh,
because,
yeah. So I'm just sorry. Carry on. I'm just catching up on the chat.
Okay. We did have the same sort of sense of humour. So yeah, it was fun to be there.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that we met up with him and some of the others.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I can't. My brain's not functioning. But
now you know my daily struggle.
It builds a closer, a better bond.
Yeah.
When you meet people.
Yeah, I call that the core of the community, you know.
Oh, I got a lovely invite today off one of my ladies. She's got a horse, and she says if I want to go and ride it anytime I like, I can. And she's not far away. And I went, no, you're all right, love. I would not inflict that on her.
It'd be entertaining watching you trying to get up her, man.
Well, yeah. But even if I could get on, I wouldn't. No.
Yeah, Steve, he never had his protection originally. One of them is fucked off now. But, you know, he is more than capable of protecting himself. I mean, he's a big lad, and he's a big, powerful lad. You can see that in his kicks, and he is trained. But, yeah, you know, it's like Khan, isn't it? London's safe, but he drives around in an armoured Range Rover with a fucking convoy of fucking protection around him and the police. But yeah, you know, if you don't go out and provoke the situation, ask sensible questions like some of them do, you don't get that reaction. But of course, Charlie used to pick on the crackheads and the druggies and the drunks, and he got exactly the reactions he wanted. Yeah, he was very handy, Steve. Very handy. And he showed that in his early videos when he smacked that taxi driver. Yeah, exactly, Steve. And you've hit the nail on the head there. Many, many people on the internet do what they do purely for views, make money. I'm the opposite. I mean, I'm as happy sat here with 20 people or 17 now watching as any other bigger show like Dan or the Rev would be with a couple of thousand people watching. You know, I've always said that the analytics mean nothing to me. I don't monetize. I'd never monetize. I believe if you want to put something out there, put the message out there, you do it for free, and people would listen for free. You know, so many of these channels now put a lot of their stuff behind a paywall. Why? If you're that dedicated to what you say, why are you putting it behind a paywall? If you want everybody to see it, why are you putting it behind a paywall?
Because you want to pay your rent, or your
Yeah.
mortgage, or buy food.
Everybody has seen certain people on the internet, and I'm not picking on anything that we do now, but certain people on the internet got very rich very quick. You know, and I mean millions. And that's what people think they can do if they come on social media and the internet. I never had them aspirations. I never said, I always said I'd never ever get a viral video with what I do.
You only wanted 500 subs.
Yeah, I mean, what we got, 3,500 now? Over 3,500. I was happy with me 500.
3.68k.
And I only ever wanted the 500 because at the time you couldn't go live unless you had 500. So that was always my target. You know, it's, but yeah, people have got a different motivation for doing YouTube, X. And again, you got the other side, the other people that literally just want to go on there and cause hassle and argue. You know, they'll argue about anything, no matter what the opinion is. Good evening, Loafer. But it's not really about entertaining, Stitch. It's what you want to do with it, where you want to go with it. Now, I started my channel up literally because people like Pap and the Rev, where I used to be on their streams and go on their channels, I said, well, why don't you start a channel of your own? You know, you come up with enough chat and enough information and that while you're on their channels. Why don't you start one up of your own? And after a bit of bitching and umming and ahhing and a lot of help from Mrs. Fix-It over here teaching me how to use the fucking internet, yeah, I got up and running.
I fixed it again today.
You know, it's, yeah, there was something going on. It was the telly, wasn't it? Obviously, we've got a smart TV. I haven't got a fucking clue how it works. All I know is how to turn it on, get onto TV, and change the channels. But being a smart TV, it's connected to the internet. So that fucked me up to start with.
Because a lot of the channels are internet only. I
called up the stairs. Oi, Mrs. Fix-It, the telly's fucked. Because of these messages on there. Didn't know how to fix it. So she said, well, leave it till dinner time. I'll come down and I'll look at it. 30 seconds, maybe a minute.
No, it took longer than that because it wouldn't acknowledge that it wasn't connected to the internet. It's
not hardwired to the router. The only thing that's hardwired in here is my computer, and that's only because it hasn't got Wi-Fi, which I could cure with a dongle, Dougal, whatever they're called. But the telly isn't. Apparently, what it had done, it had lost its internet connection. So some channels I could watch, others I couldn't. It wouldn't do what it was told. It wouldn't show me the program guide. So she fixed it. And then I just walked over and gave her a kiss on the cheek. I said, I'm going to start making little medals. Mrs. W fixed it for me. And I bet you'd end up with more than fucking Savile did, I'll tell you. But that's me and tech, you know. It's what's going on in here?
He's still moaning about the way it works.
Oh, it's
Do not get a free television until they get it sorted. It's crap.
I would say if you're doing it with a TV, carry on watching Freeview until they take it off, because the ones that own Freeview are Freely, who have got another system which they're going to switch over to, which is the system we've got.
But you can't even set a channel reminder.
Well, yeah, you can't set a channel reminder. And to see what sort of things are on, I get a TV guide. Now, the TV guides have, well, let's just take that one. Something I never watched, Sky Arts. Now, on Freeview, that is channel 36. And then it's got channel stroke 124 stroke 125. Then it's got the same again in a different colour. Then it's got channel 140 and 123 in red. And then in purple, it's got channel 143. Fucking nowhere in there does it tell you where those channels are. Whether it's on Sky, whether it's on Freeview, whether it's on Freely. And all the channel numbers they give
are wrong.
Are totally different to Freely.
I printed him off a list.
To a point, she printed me off a list with the numbers of the channels that I can't tend to watch. Because then I don't have to. And you go into the guide, oh, that's fucking hilarious. Because most of the channels, even on Freely, you've got to sign in and to watch. You don't have to pay for them.
Those are the internet ones.
Yeah, the internet channels. Yeah, they're all listed. 1 to about 100. But you go below that, and there's the channel again under another number, which you don't need to sign in for. You just click on it.
For some reason, they've put the internet access channels first. So BBC One, yeah. BBC Two, yeah. Channel 3, no. ITV, it's the Channel 3 is the ITV version of the iPlayer, and so you've got to go into. Oh no.
Sea levels rising, ships will have to sail uphill. Yeah, we can always rely on you, Loafer, can't we? Yeah, I mean, Heather likes her Star Trek. She used to be a Trekkie. So, you know,
don't grow out of it.
There's reruns of Star Trek and sci-fi.
Yeah.
I like a good sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
But most of my watching on any TV sort of platform is documentaries. What's the other one called? There's one called PBS America. Now, that does show some very, very good programs. They've had a 2-program series of how the narrative and propaganda was used in war and how they twist things and stuff like that. You'll have different things on, Cold War, this sort of thing, and documentaries looking back into the history of different things. And it is a very interesting channel, and I would always recommend it.
But if you're not into war history,
Yeah.
it can be.
Well, I as you know, I've quite often told you, I did a lot of history searching at school. A lot of it was looking into the history of war. Obviously, the war wasn't that far behind us when I went to school. You know, and I quite often, still even now, yeah, I know a lot about the operations and what have you, but I'm still finding out stuff that I missed back then and I didn't know about. And it puts a whole different spin on what you know. You know, it's all history, it's all fact, but it was facts that they hid at the time. You know. Have you got a smart? Yes, Nick, we have. When the kids come over, the grandkids, they've got what is it, Netflix, and well, they've got all sorts for the kids. And what they've done is, because on Netflix you pay, how much is it, 90p or something?
It's about £1 to add one license at another address.
Yeah, for £1 you can add another address
for somebody
on your
at uni
account
or whatever.
So Heather's daughter pays £1 extra. So when the kids are over here, they can carry on watching Netflix. And I've got to admit, it is good, because Heather has actually binge watched a couple of series. And yeah, I'm like, yeah, leave it on. You know, it's only something in the background for me. If you're watching it, I'm quite happy with that, you know.
I'm working my way through House.
Yeah, House
at the moment
is the one at the moment.
I do like Hugh Laurie.
Yeah, and he's brilliant in that.
I've even got one of his albums.
Yeah, I never watched the Cross-Files, Steve.
Taylor and
sorry, Anderson just didn't look nice enough for me to watch it because of the women. But there again, think about it now. Trump said he's going to release a lot of the UFO files that America's got. He didn't say all. He said, but there are things there and contained in them that the public should know about. Absolutely agree. But that tells me that there is something to the stories.
Well, you can't have evidence that they don't exist. It's just you haven't got the
there's evidence that somebody is hiding something.
Yes.
Very damning evidence.
So something has been found.
Yeah. I mean, that guy the other day in Antarctica. Now, yes, we know Antarctica is protected. It is a good evening, Stuart. It is a bloody big continent. Now, there's a no-go fly zone over it. And now, I didn't know this, there's even a ban on social media there, or the internet. A gentleman was on a party there, and they landed on the ice. He had a personal SpaceX thing, satellite, and he started live streaming from on the ice. They shut him down. When he got back on his boat, they confiscated all his equipment. They told him he'd have to delete whatever he did on the ice, and they would hold his equipment until they're such a distance away from it, because the live streaming and even using internet devices like mobile phones are banned on Antarctica. Why would they do that? Yeah, Starlink, that's it. Thank you, Jen. The reason they gave was it's for cyber security. Well, penguins don't need cyber security. So what are they trying to fucking hide? What security risk is there of somebody streaming on Antarctica? Obviously trying to hide something. You know? And it makes you think. You know, by, again, as I said earlier, by hiding stuff and covering it up, you're naturally going to start conspiracy theories. You know? But there is, you know, you take that evidence and other things that they've said about the place, they're obviously trying to hide something. Yeah, sure. That is one thing that they did say. If he'd had a normal digital recording device, it would have been fine, him recording, but they would review his footage before he was allowed to go away with it. But you're not allowed any device that can connect you to the internet. And that was how they actually worded it. Yeah, exactly, Steve. I mean, if someone shows you the evidence of something and you think that evidence is right, you wouldn't go up and make stories up about it, would you? You say, oh, it's in the evidence and it is bang on, you know. And this is what I say about the ethnicity of perpetrators and perverts. People need to know who they are, or at least, you know, what race, whatever. And I will admit, a lot of the crime isn't all about foreigners or immigrants. There are still a lot of crimes committed by our own people in this country. I won't deny that. But yeah, cover-ups will always breed conspiracy theories and speculation. And, you know, that is a blatantly obvious one. The fact that his little short bit of stream got out there anyway, you know. But obviously, if it's live streamed, there's nothing they can do. All right, Stitch. No worries, sweetheart. You look after yourself. I mean, I'm not too into. I am flagging a little bit, but
only half an hour.
Yeah, it's only half an hour to go. So, oh, this is one story that I wanted to get in. Bring the tone down again. Miliband, Mad Monk Miliband. You know, he only needs a long beard, and he'd look like fucking Rasputin. He's been questioned now about the deal he did in China with the Chinese over energy. Apparently, the problem is none of us have heard about it other than that a deal was done, because he won't publish what the deal was about, or, you know, what it was over, what the deal was.
The details.
Even worse, he hasn't given the details to Parliament, which is an absolute no-no. Absolute no-no. And Kimmy Badenoch rightly brought that up today at PMQs. But why? Why was he trying to hide something? What doesn't he want us to see? We know he's under investigation for certain things at the moment, and not just by the government, by the police as well. What did he do with that deal with China? It's like Starmer. Everything he says he's done with China, we can. I've debunked it instantly. The evidence is out there. It's a load of bollocks. But Miliband is a bit different, you know. But then, now, what has he done by that? People are starting conspiracy theories. Why has he done it? What has he done? All because he won't publish it. He won't tell the people that he's supposed to tell what deal he's done. Now, straight away, I would have said that brings Parliament into disrepute. That breaks parliamentary rules. You know, they get told off for breaking the rules and leaking stuff to the press. Well, holding stuff back at times is the same as. So what the absolute lunatic is trying to do there, yeah, he's the one that keeps telling us that energy prices are coming down where they're going up. It's already been proved that the green agenda ain't going to work. It's not economical. We'd end up paying more, not less. But yeah, that was another thing I meant to mention when I was talking about PMQs, actually.
Good evening, Stuart. Long time no see.
Oh, yeah, you were upstairs when I said hello, weren't you?
Hello.
Yeah, maybe this thing on Antarctica, penguins. Now, I've always had a thing about penguins. I fucking hate them. I don't know why. I mean, they're a pointless entity unless you're starving. Apparently, they are palatable, just.
Don't taste much like chicken.
I don't know if they taste like chicken or not. But I sat and thought about it. Where did my disdain for penguins come from? Except for the ones covered in chocolate, obviously. Don't mind them.
Anything related.
And penguin books I used to read as a kid. But I put it down to the fact that my first school year at a primary school was a very strict Roman Catholic school. And I think my disdain for penguins came from the nuns. Because I fucking hated them. They were bitches, left, right and centre, from what I can remember.
Oh, you were just as big a terror as you are now.
Well, they feed the walruses, yeah. And a few killer whales as well. It's quite funny when people say, oh, polar bears eat them. Obviously never took geography at school. But nuns, reverse, yeah. But yeah. They can handle a 7.62. She can waddle away. Yeah, I can explain that, Stuart. Because believe it or not, it's quite hard to shoot a goose as well. Literally because of the density of their feathers, it causes penetration issues. I mean, yeah, a goose will shrug off, say, an air rifle shot. Admittedly, the only couple of geese that I've ever shot didn't fare too well against a 12 bore. But but again, if you hit them in the body, even shotgun shells, unless it's a full-on duck cartridge with the big balls in, just half a dozen big balls, they'll bounce off the feathers usually. And I have seen that. That's why, duck and goose hunters use we used to call it duck shot. It's got anything between 4 and 8 shot in size that are probably 5-6 times bigger than, say, bird shot or scatter shot, that buckshot, that sort of thing. But look, I've even seen videos of people hunting geese with archery gear, bow and arrow and crossbows. And quite regularly, you'll just see the bird fly off with a fucking arrow stuck in it because it hasn't penetrated very far.
They can preen themselves better.
Yeah, something to grab hold of. But yeah. Well, has anybody got anything to say on what I brought up tonight? Or has anybody got anything to say anyway? Loafer there, he quite often chucks in a load of comments. Personally, I have to try and decipher what he's trying to say to read them. But that's Loafer. We've known him for some time, and it's nothing more that I don't expect from him.
It's because he tweets with his accent, isn't it?
Yeah, he tweets with his accent. I like that.
It's like when you get...
Do a quick pan. I ain't going to bother tonight, Steve. It's it'll take me away from, like it usually does, from the comments. Yeah, again, some weeks I'll do it, some weeks I don't. It's Loafer's had a reasonably good day. That's a very rare thing to say nowadays, Loafer. Very rare. I mean, I don't go anywhere or hardly do anything, and I have good and bad days. I mean, some days, Heather is brilliant. No matter what I'm trying to say and no matter how it comes out, she always knows what I mean or knows what I'm trying to say.
I'm a mind reader. Apparently, I used to do it for my brother as well. Wouldn't let him speak. I'd talk for him.
VO5. Shampoo. It's like, I had a quick scrape today on the face and my razor actually fell apart. The bristles were that thick and stiff. I was thinking about doing something with my hair. I was half expecting, with the way it's got your nibs behind me there, to walk over and put one of them little fucking air bubbles on the back.
I've got one.
No, thank you.
Go
on. All right, Jen. Take care, sweetheart.
Are you starting to grow a ponytail? Is that what it's?
No, I just haven't been asked to cut it.
Well, I know that.
I mean, if I grow it much longer, I'm going to end up looking like fucking Max Wall or Bill What's His Face, the comedian. Bald on the top, more on the back. It's like a weird version of a mullet.
Bill Bailey.
Bill Bailey, that's it.
My brain got there in the end.
Wife avoidance is the key to success. She's going through the jazz. Yeah, she wants the menopause changed. I'll be honest, a lot of the time, I couldn't even function without Heather's help. I get stuck and, even going out into the kitchen. I can't go and talk to her out there because I get kicked out because I annoy her.
Well, we have got quite a small kitchen.
Yeah, it is a small kitchen.
And you always want to come past when I'm stood in the narrowest part.
I look like Epstein.
And I'm making a cup of coffee and I've got to stand where the kettle is. So you push past, you then go and mooch in the fridge, but don't pass me the milk. Don't pass me the milk while you're in there because I'm
Yeah.
making a cup of coffee.
The other
And you
problem,
wonder why I get annoyed.
the other problem, Jen, it's very, very thick at the back. And unfortunately, when my hair gets a bit longer, I don't like the fucking wispy bits on top, but it does show that I have got some up there. My hair was always curly, even when I grew it long. And I forgot how it felt to have long hair. Dangerous kitchen, thanks, mate. There are lots of things out there that are dangerous, and they get even more so when they're in her hands.
You're so mean to me. You were just being so nice, and then you have to. Yeah, no.
What's this about the red arrows?
I don't think so. Don't think so, Steve.
Should have called.
The thing is, if he's in the kitchen and I follow him out, he moans like buggery. But as I say, I'm making a coffee to take up to work, and he wants to see if he can make a sandwich. Give me 2 minutes and you can have it all to yourself.
How many times when I can't sleep have I shouted down around midnight, when you come up, bring us half a cheese sandwich? I am getting hungry now, to be honest. We've only got about 10 minutes left anyway. I didn't have any tea tonight. I just had a quick snack.
I'm all right, Jack.
But yeah, there's never a dull moment here, and Heather will see me stood around or walking around dilly-dallying over summer, and it's more, she'll give me more of a prompt about what I was trying to do, or I said I was going to do something earlier, and she'll remind me of it because I've literally forgotten. Hence the turning up at the hospital on the wrong day last week. Get a leg tag. Oh, what I need is one of them air tag things, isn't it? So she can watch where I'm moving on her phone. But the house is so that it's got on the floor down here. We've got about a 2.5 foot, 3 foot cavity under the floorboards. It was built on dwarf walls and footings. So anybody going across it, you can hear them walking. Same with upstairs. We got that many creaking boards upstairs and on the stairs that you can't move around the house without the other person knowing where you are, basically.
But I can still get over to you and give you a heart attack without realising
even when I've been on camera doing something, she's managed to creep up behind me and scare the living shit out of me.
I do not creep. It's not intentional. I even make noises sometimes.
Well, so do I, with all my joints clicking every time I move them.
Well, mine have joined yours now, haven't they?
Yeah, and they still won't look into seeing if the arthritis in my neck has started to spread. I think it has. I feel it. It's if I sleep awkwardly or sleep on the wrong pillow or even lay back on a chair for an hour, if I've got my neck in the wrong position, it is bloody murder. Luxury cool space. Yeah, there is plenty of room under there to do that, Loafer. And I only knew it was there because some of the floorboards and a couple of rafters had rotted out in this corner where I am, actually. And not trusting the council to put it right, I had the floor up and did it myself. When I bought boards and some tannalised rafters and. But one good news, we're getting a new roof. Oh, yippee. And I believe it's because what I said to the bloke who come round to inspect the buildings last week. We had a guy turn up on the doorstep yesterday. He wanted to know if we would still have the roof, wanted the roof, and if the answer would yes, they'd have a word with the neighbour, because obviously they're going to have to put a couple of poles in their land for the scaffolding. And I told her, I said, well, why all of a sudden? I said, this place was on the list, and I brought this up with the council. I said it was on the list for a new roof 25, 30 years ago. And they came up the street and put a load of new roofs on the council houses. But what they did was only done the semi-detached ones. Those that were semi-detached with a privately owned one attached, they didn't bother doing. And when they did come out to repoint the chimney, the elderly neighbour we had at the time had to totally have a new roof because they fucking trashed it. So they had to pay for Earth to have a new roof, but then they wouldn't pay for us.
Because the workmen had put it on the sheet that it had been done. So they used my tiles to do a foreigner, as far as I'm concerned.
Yep. But it's not just the roof. He said they're going to replace all the fascias, the guttering. So that could cause issue because the fucking internet cable runs along the fucking fascia. It's been nailed to it. Not by me, by the engineer. Plastic pipes underfloor. Are you, as a plumber loafer, I'm interested in your take on this. Now, I saw a post the other day that said copper is better for your water plumbing because over time you do get small amounts of copper in your water supply, obviously because it travels through copper pipes, and the copper that enters the body, it's enough to give the body what it needs in the way of copper, apparently. But this person reckoned, and it was a professional person, but that's all contributed a little bit towards a lot of the illnesses that people suffer, because most places now are built on plastic piping. They don't run copper. They use that click stuff, don't they? Be interesting what you think of that, being a plumber. I mean, I will say the plastic is a lot easier to work with, and you get the right pipe, and it can be used with central heating systems as well.
And for carrying fishing rods.
And for carrying fishing. No, that's drain pipe. That's soil pipe, that is.
Still a plastic pipe. Still plumbing.
Costlier time materials, water plus copper, but lead is, yeah, obviously lead is a lot worse. The plastic, when it comes down to cost, yeah. I see that side of it totally. I just wondered whether you'd heard anything about this shit, with copper, adding copper to the water supply, I mean, I've done both. I've helped plumb houses with copper, and I've also done it with plastic. And yes, although I wasn't paying for it because I was working for a company, but the plastic did seem a lot easier, a hell of a lot easier to run as well, because it is flexible to a certain extent. But I have seen and had to replace bad installations where it has just been thrown in a cavity under the floor. It hasn't been clipped and stuff like that. Apparently that can cause issues. And I did have one job where I had to replace all the heating pipes underneath her cavity floor. But again, it was a lot easier. You know, you didn't even have to drill holes through rafters in a straight line because the pipe absorbed any offset.
How did we get talking about fucking
I'm fucked if I know, but that's about it now for tonight. I'm going to finish my ciggy and get something to eat. Have a sit down. Because even when I'm tired, you know, we sit down and talk about what we've been talking about. You know, as you all know, me and Heather don't often agree or don't always agree on Farage. She is a Farage person. And as I said, I base my decisions on what I think they're going to bring in.
And as I said earlier...
But I would vote for reform at the moment, as I say.
Exactly. As I said earlier, it's going to be when the election is, where we are in this world.
Yeah, and what's going on in the world is going to be another big factor because it's changing so rapidly. But yeah, I would vote reform at the moment, but my decision would be based mainly on the fact that they are the only party out there at the moment on paper that've got a chance of getting Labour out.
Yeah.
Because I've always said it's not a case of getting Starmer removed now. With what they've done, we want the whole fucking Labour Party gone.
Yes, me too. And I think that's the main reason I'm behind Nigel, because a lot of what he says makes perfect sense. And you'll hear him say something and then suddenly fucking Starmer's thought of it. It's a miracle. Oh my God, never thought of that before.
Well, that's how Starmer rebranded himself as a patriot, wasn't it? Using everybody else's ideas.
Exactly.
And claiming them.
But this Nigel does, at the moment, he's saying things that, like this, don't work from home. You know, if you're going to push for that, you're going to put me out of work.
Yes, Loafer, absolutely. We've always covered pipes when they go through any sort of masonry and cement because it does react with it. Right, as I said, I'm going to leave it there for tonight, guys. Thank you for tuning in tonight. It's been another good stream, to be honest. I've been a bit more relaxed and I feel a bit more upbeat today, so that's probably helped a little bit. So with saying that, my respects to each and every one of you. Thank you for turning up and supporting the channel. I don't ask for financial support. You being there is more than enough. So with that, it's good night from me.
It's also good night from me.
And the usual, stay safe, stay strong, stay free. And for those that go down the Mrs. W route, stay wicked. Cheers, people. Take care. Stay safe.
Try it on Apple, Loafer.